it is Mother's Day weekend, and welcome to the Wake Up Show Chicago. I'm the co-host to this show, LaDonna Ray of Ray Consulting, and I'm also the chairman or co-chair of the marketing committee with the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. And I am so proud to be a member of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. Now watch this. If you're listening to us on Facebook Live, great, share the show. If you're listening to us on AM 1690, awesome, tell everybody. And if you are watching us on YouTube, definitely subscribe. Very important. We're here each and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and we're coming to you live at WVON 1690 and streaming everywhere, as you know. Now, subscribe to our YouTube channel right now. Just hit the subscribe button. But in addition to that, make sure that you write down this phone number, 773-591-1690, so you can call us live during the show. Well, before we dive into a powerful discussion, I have to introduce who I'm co host to. It is a man who is a leader in Black business advocacy, serving as the president and CEO of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce and the chairman of the board of the National Black Chamber of Commerce in Washington, D.C. That is Mr. Larry Ivory. Good morning.
Good morning, LaDonna Ray, and to our listening audience. It is another beautiful Saturday, and I'm looking forward to our special guest coming on and really getting some insight in reference to the Black Caucus and some of the exciting things coming on. And I'm looking forward to a very positive interaction as we discuss and really focus on how do we strengthen Black businesses. And we know when we strengthen Black business, LaDonna, that we strengthen Black people, we strengthen Black communities, and we also strengthen America at the same time. So I'm excited to be involved in this conversation. And LaDonna Ray, hey, let's make it happen.
Man, I'm excited as well. And I know we say that when we have people come on, they are thought leaders. They are people that are in position to make things happen, listen to the Black community. All of these things are important. And our guest today is basically, if you put it in a nutshell, when you have Senator Lakeisha Collins as a dedicated public servant, a Chicago native and mother of three, and former nursing home worker who served as a spokesperson for the Fight for $15 campaign, advocating for healthcare workers. And just know that she is a strong advocate for seniors, working class families, youth in care, education, public safety, and affordable housing and mental health. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome Senator Lakeisha Collins. Welcome to the Wake Up Show, Chicago.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Now, I know that there's some initiatives that you're working on. Can you tell our audience, our listening audience, what it is that you have for us today so that we know all of this passion is going into policy and making moves?
Yes. So I have the honor of serving a district that is, I would say the city of Chicago in a district, right? Very diverse, West Side, West Loop, South Loop, near North Side. And over the years, I've passed, different pieces of legislation pertaining to what I hear on the doors, constituents who call me and ask me, about or tell me concerns that they have, and then we whip it into policy. But this year in particular, I focused more on youth and care, primarily because I was a former youth and care, but also because we know that majority of the young people in the system in child welfare is Black young babies, right? And so trying to work from the inside to disrupt the status quo, disrupt the system, and ensure that our young people have a smooth transition and that they're equipped with all the resources that they need to truly thrive. There's a connection, a deep connection for young people who are in child welfare that, they end up going into this cycle of criminality. A lot of them are homeless when they emancipate from the system. A lot of them, might change their name because they're re-traumatized by what's going on in child welfare. And so because I have some of those similar experiences, this has been one of my top priorities. So this year, finally, after battling with DCFS for the past 2.5, 3 years, we were able to pass a bill around the transition portion, which now gives youth and care more of a voice in what they want to see, or, the resources that they actually need to help them, whether it's to go to college, what are the steps they need to take to do that, find permanent housing so that they're not homeless. If they're youth in care who become pregnant, making sure that they have child care, making sure that they have an actual job before they emancipate out the system. And so that's a bill that I'm proud to say passed the Senate, waiting for it to pass in the House. It passed bipartisan. Then I have the squatters bill, because I've heard a lot from constituents in my district. And now I'm seeing it all over the news, which, again, I think will be beneficial, especially to our small homeowners who struggle to, deal with the burdens of someone breaking into their property that they've worked so hard to, build and establish, and then, destroy the property. And law enforcement prior to this bill had no direction on what to do. So it's a squatter bill, Senate Bill 1563, that passed the Senate, bipartisan. It's in the House, waiting to get heard on the floor. And then also, I've been doing a lot of work around midwives and doulas, because when we think about our ancestral, Big Mama was the one delivering the babies, right?
Yeah.
And so that has seemed to change, but we have the highest infant mortality rate. I'm sorry, I'm talking fast, but we have the highest infant mortality rate, morbidity rate. And a lot of it is, 80% of that, could have been prevented. But a lot of times, these folks in white coats, they don't listen to Black women. They don't listen to us. And so people are literally dying at the table just to bring life into the world. And so the birth equity bill that I passed last year, this is just an extension. And so that's the certified nurse midwife bill, which will, not only bring more of them into the field, but give parents an option to have their babies at home. And so also a physician who doesn't, do home births, give them an opportunity to collaborate with certified nurse midwives.
Now, I have a question
I
about
could go
that.
on and on, but
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I have a
Yes, ma'am.
question about that. So there has been stipulation around how the Black community may lack interest in something as simple as, or convenient as, breastfeeding. How
Hmm.
how difficult would it be to get women to basically adopt the idea of having their own children in their own homes, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think that's one, a myth. And then two, because of the lack of us knowing the history of, home birth and how essential it is to us, the education piece is going to be very important around it. But we don't have the same experience as our white counterparts.
Hmm.
There's no one telling you the benefits of breastfeeding. See, when I was a youth in care, I got pregnant with my first son 20 years old, and you can emancipate before 20, but 21 is like that deadline. And so it was my first child. Didn't really know any better, but I was open to any education I could get. And when I found out the benefits of breastfeeding your child and how it prevents, your child from getting sick, ear infections and things of that nature, I breastfed all three of my children, right?
Hmm.
We have zero hospital visits. They
Yeah.
barely catch a cold, and they're 19, 16, and 12. So it's life saving too, right?
Yeah.
So I think now that we're raising more attention around this, and there's actually laws in the books, and there's more education from a lot of our advocates that are experienced in this space, I think you're going to see those numbers increase even more, because it's safer to have your baby at home than it is to have it in an institution where they're telling you there's nothing wrong, that this is
Yeah.
normal, when we know in fact it's not normal.
For sure. Now, since we're on
Yeah.
the healthcare kick, I'm sorry, Larry. I was gonna go ahead, Larry. I apologize.
No, you go ahead, Don, but I'll jump in right after you.
Okay, no problem. So another powerhouse that we have on the line today, since we're on the healthcare kick, and health as an initiative altogether. Basically, I want to bring on someone who's worked countless hours and times when it comes far beyond we could what we could ever imagine. He's a physician, an entrepreneur, an author, a public health advocate that believes communities thrive when empowered by knowledge and access. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jeffery Sterling.
Good morning, everyone. It is such a joy to have space with the leaders of the two groups that have been the biggest supporter of the efforts to help Simcoe deliver health prevention and health promotion across the state. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank the chamber specifically for your efforts over what has to be about 8 years now, Larry, and certainly the leader of the Legislative Black Caucus for her time, which she's been very giving of. We've met multiple times on this issue, and her generosity and her knowledge. It is absolutely refreshing to hear a public health a servant of the people this well versed on matters of health. And we're just excited to continue to have your support. And we just want to thank you and look forward to implementing the strategies that actually will make a difference. So I just wanted to say hello again. We just met a few days ago. And again, thanks to everybody on the call for doing what you do and helping us do what we do.
Of course. And even in though just a few days ago, Dr. Sterling, you all have been collaborating closely, you and Senator Lakeisha Collins. Can you guys give us a little bit about that? Give us some insight on what you've been working on?
Well, of course, listeners of the show over the years have heard us talk about the Simcoe solution on multiple occasions, and it's two sides of the coin. Obviously, we want to improve healthcare outcomes and eradicate healthcare disparities where they exist. And of course, the African American community is disproportionately affected. But the other side of the coin here is that we are doing it in a culturally specific way, FUBU, if you will. Public health data has shown for years that better healthcare outcomes are produced when they are produced in our community by Black physicians and other healthcare professionals. So the Simcoe solution involves an economic uplift program because we have over 100 Black businesses that are participating in the effort that we aspire to have statewide to deliver services to various communities. And we're just so proud that this has been a priority of the Legislative Black Caucus for 3 years running, such that this agenda item actually passed the General Assembly in fiscal years 23, 24, and 25, and it's coming up again in 26. And we're hopeful that with the leadership of Senator Collins on board, it will not only get approval through the General Assembly, but we actually will get money on the street so that we can actually make a difference in these communities.
Senator Collins?
No, I think Dr. Sterling pretty much summed that up. I think with us at the legislature, a lot of the times, for me, just my experience of being there, implementation matters. And, going in with the intent to do anything, whether it's appropriation or passing laws, there's always some, blockage there. And I want to remind people that, being a Black elected official doesn't mean that we get, I would say, that main seat at the table. That means that we just got to fight harder for our people, and we got to make sure that the things that we're putting in place, one, people know about it, and then two, that we're standing 10 tones down on it. But, there's a lot of more work that needs to be done with that, because I think Dr. Sterling's model will actually help our communities when it comes to prevention. And so that's been some of the struggle there. But the more we keep talking about it, the more we keep pushing every General Assembly, I think that eventually we'll get to a place where our communities are, one, healthy. We don't have to see a lot of these dialysis clinics. I just saw one yesterday set up in the hood where I come from, and I'm just like, everywhere you go, you see a dialysis clinic.
Absolutely.
That's a problem. It's a problem. It's in our food. It's just what we have been conditioned to think is okay because it was intentionally done that way. You got more, corner stores than you have healthy food stores, right? And so when we talk about food deserts, when you think of that, you think about a Black community. You think about low-income communities, right? And so just to keep a good, healthy grocery food store in our community is challenging at times. But it's about reconditioning the way that we think, the way that we see food, the way that we look at ourselves and think about health. But again, I think a lot of our people are waking up. You see a lot of folks, gardening now. They're planting their own fresh vegetables, and they're sharing it with the community. right?
I
A lot
love
of
it.
people are going back to taking herbs and things of that nature. A lot of people are doing plant-based diets because they understand that it is the food that is killing them.
All
And
right.
that is why, and I'll hold off on that one because that's something else that our caucus members are focusing on as well.
Right. And I was going to say, Larry, jump in because I know you have some questions and I want to make sure we
Yeah.
get you going.
Well, first of all, Senator Collins, it's great to have you on the show. One of the things that I'm reminded of Dr. King, one of the great icons of Black people and of the world, quite frankly. He made a comment. He said that of the good things in life, the Black people have a small portion. Of the bad things in life, we have a double portion. And that's true when we take a look at healthcare, when we take a look at business across the board. What advice would you give the community in terms of how we better engage in terms of helping to get things done? So, what do you think we're missing? What advice would you give the Black community in terms of getting engaged, the mistakes perhaps we make from a political side? Since you're in the system, you understand the system better, and you've seen people who are more effective, perhaps than we are. Give us some insight from your perspective of what you would want to see the chamber do, what you would want to see more Black people throughout the whole state of Illinois to do, and obviously you have some insights from upset. So I'll be quiet and listen to your insight from what do you think.
Thank you for that question, Brother Larry. So from what I've experienced, it's never enough, right? I feel like when I learn something new, it's always something else. And so there's always something else to learn. But what I would say is under my leadership of, the Black Caucus as a joint chairwoman is that I'm still, I'm approaching it as an organizer who organized thousands of nursing home workers, right? That was my job. That's what I know. And, knowing that I know people. And so I'm dealing with leaders. I'm not dealing with members of the General Assembly. Everyone is a leader in their own right. And so I have to, for me, it's been figuring out how far would this person go if we have to, shut something down or, how far would this person go on this issue? And so the question that I ask the caucus members is, what is your insult level? And we cannot handle these fights by ourselves. Yeah, we're the largest caucus, but again, we're outnumbered individually in the chamber. Well, except for the House. The Senate is, though, because it's 12 of us over there. And so it's like
Senator, what is an
strategically,
insult level? I'm sorry for interrupting you. What's an insult level?
how many insults can you take before you say enough is enough?
I love it.
And that's a question that will ask the entire Black community, whether you're here in Chicago or all the way down in Cairo, right? Like, what is your insult level? Like, how far are you willing to allow people to continue to insult your intelligence before you say, you know what, I'm not going to vote on this budget because it doesn't speak to Black people. It doesn't speak to the people that I represent, that I got to go back home to and look in their face, right? Like, what is that level? And so once you figure that out, then now you know that, hey, this is my limit and this is where I'm going to go if I have to. And so when you talk about what do our people back at home, what they have to do, we have to build from the ground up. Our folks is just not engaged like that. And that's because a lot of them are working 2 or 3 jobs. A lot of them can't go to the, teacher parent conferences. Why? I was one of those people too. Hey, I'm still like that now to this day. And it's like some people, they, you make being poor look rich. We ain't happy. A lot of us robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? There's not enough million black millionaires walking around here. It's just not. And so we need that ground, boots on the ground. We need that pressure from the community, not the hollering and screaming what you ain't doing because you just don't know internally what is going on, the battles that we're fighting there. But we need the support. We need the empowerment. We need that backing so that when we go in those rooms and we're, saying, hey, this is what our community is saying, they need to be able to look back and see thousands of people standing there. If there's a bill that we know is not good for our community, they need to see those bills being slipped in opposition and that this is coming from our Black community folks, right? And so I've been doing a lot of, training and showing people the process, how to file a bill, how to look up and see what step that bill is on, how to slip in opposition, how to slip in, in support of a bill, things of that nature, explaining to them the process, because they took out Civics 101 for a reason. See, there's two types of power. There's people power and there's money power. We ain't got the money, but we got the people. And so we definitely need to be more intentional about bringing our people to the Capitol. And that's the disconnect there. We legislate in Springfield, not here in Chicago. So for 6 months, we're in Springfield. We're only here for maybe 2 days out of the week. But every week, we're driving 3.5 hours to get to work. A lot of our people have lack of transportation. So when we did the budget address in February, the response to the governor, we were very intentional, the new leadership of the Black Caucus, to bring our people down there. And we're looking to connect folks that have been ostracized from the Black community for whatever reason, folks who have, internal beef with each other. We let them know, and we're telling everybody, put that to the side, because if you are truly about Black liberation, then nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. So that's what we need, and that's what we're doing. And as far as the Chamber of Commerce, I definitely want to build a better relationship with the Chamber, because you all play a vital role when it comes to our businesses. We need to have more engagement with the Chamber of Commerce, right? Because I see what other folks are doing and how they, their structure is. A lot of this stuff, we created the blueprint. We just haven't done the implementation, but others have copied that and they have done the implementation. So ain't no more pocket watching. What are we doing now to ensure that our people get every single thing that's owed to them, and do it in a strategic way and rebuild our movement? Because that is what it's going to take. Because right now we're in a pivotal moment. And if we continue to complain or have these kitchen conversations about what we don't like and we don't put it into action, we're not going to look at a future for the next generation to step in. And some of us got to stop gatekeeping too. But I'll digress, because I don't want to keep, elaborating on that. But that's what we got to do as people. We're people that come from greatness.
Love it.
Yeah, we've been beat down and talked down on and taught to hate each other, but we got to put all that to the side, because people are more afraid of what we could do if we would have reached that level of where we should be.
And Senator Collins, I hear your passion. This is what people need to hear. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to call in, it's 773-591-1690. Again, that's 773-591-1690. You're listening to the Wake Up Show Chicago with Larry Ivory, the president and CEO of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce, and myself, LaDonna Ray. But we also have Dr. Jeffrey Sterling on here. Larry, you were trying to convey something.
Yeah, let me just make this. I'll make this comment: is that Frederick Douglass was the founder of the first Chamber of Commerce ever designed, and then the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and every other chamber came from it, but he was the founder of the chamber. And one of the things that we always say, Senator Collins, that we don't have a social economic problem. We have an economic social problem. Because if we can create the economics, we can fix the social. So our job from a chamber perspective is to help create Black wealth by growing Black business, make sure they have a seat at the table. And as we say, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. But our job is to take a look at procurement, like the Department of Corrections, who has close to a $2 billion budget, but only $1.8 million of that business goes directly to African-American businesses. And yet 54% of the people incarcerated are people of color. We have to have a game plan in understanding procurement, how to make procurement work for us, and how to get access where we should participate where our dollars help create the opportunity. The same thing with the Department of Transportation, which is funded by a motor fuel tax. And we want to make sure that people understand when we're in meetings, we're not begging them for an opportunity. We make sure they understand that we help fund infrastructure through the motor fuel tax, which means if you put gas in your car, you're paying for highway infrastructure. We are excited to build relationships with people like yourself and leaders throughout the state, so that we can get better and make things better for the collective whole. And so we definitely look forward. Our Illinois Black Business PAC will be identifying people like yourself to support, because it takes money and votes in order to stay in power, to continue to do the right thing. So we got to understand how important it is. So I salute you And I wanted to make sure that we had you on the call because I've heard some wonderful things about you. I'm excited for you and your new leadership role, and we definitely look forward to strengthening our relationship with you.
Same here, Larry.
We have
Same
a caller,
here.
actually. We have a caller, and I know we only have Senator on for a couple of minutes. Do you mind if we take a caller? Hi, Veronica.
Hi there. I just wanted to call in. I've been listening in on this, and I just wanted to be present and hear all this awesome information that you guys were providing today.
Thank you so much, Veronica. We really appreciate that. Make sure you go to ilbcc.org to get more information on the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce and
Yeah,
and support us.
you got you. Is it ILLCC?
Yep, I'm sorry, ILBCC, sorry.
I apologize.
ILBCC.org. That's ILBCC.org. For Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce, it's ILBCC.org.
Yes, ma'am. I'm there. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye for now. All right, guys. Senator Lakeisha Collins, Dr. Jeffery Sterling, any closing remarks before we let you go?
One, thank you all for having me on this morning. I just want to say, if you're a mom, happy Mother's Day. If you're a mentor to somebody, happy Mother's Day. But happy Mother's Day to everybody listening. This journey that I've been on, I pray every day that, I can just continue to be a better version of myself. But I am so in love with the people I serve and just my people. I'm so in love because my grandmother, Mary, may she rest in peace. I grew up listening to Dick Gregory, Paul Mooney, and, all the greats, right? And so all of that stuck with me to this day. And so, what I'm seeing right now is the need for us to unite. And that's bringing business. That's bringing our clergy. That's bringing our Black trade unionists. That's bringing, our community organizations together and to really spark a movement that, that have some meaning to it in this present time. But really the healing of our community is always at the forefront for me, right? Understanding and having this lived experience, and I'm not downing anyone else, but having that lived experience, knowing what a fried bologna sandwich or syrup sandwich look like and taste like, you can't take me. I can never forget where I started, where I'm at now, and where I'm trying to go. And the people that I'm bringing with me, the young people that I'm mentoring, the young people who I'm instilling all of this knowledge into, because I know for a fact that everything that we're dealing with now, this is what our elders have fought for.
That's right.
And with this new administration rolling back every single thing that they have, shed blood, tears, sweat, you name it, we cannot allow that. Because then what do we leave for this next generation? Are they still going to be talking about housing insecurity, food deserts? Are they still going to be talking about how hard it is to get a business, how hard it is to get a home? That shouldn't be. And so, being in this position that people want to say is power, I can't take that for granted. And so my passion, it lies in that. It lies in the need to liberate our folks, to connect our folks, to educate our folks, to, embrace them and bring them into this space. Sometimes you got to take somebody by the hand and just bring them, with you. And that's what we've been working to do. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank my chairman, who co-chair with me, Senator Willie Preston and Representative Justin Slaughter, because this trio is what is rebranding and reshaping how we move and where we go forward. We're continuing the legacy of those who came before us while also adding our own, spice to it. And so thank you all again for having me on. I look forward to working with you. I look forward to building up our economic engine that drives this state and this country. So thank you. And thank you, Dr. Sterling. This man is a genius, has a lot of wealth of knowledge, and he's doing it. He's making his footprints in Springfield. So thank you for your collaboration too.
Super. Well, thank you, Senator Representative Slaughter and Preston both on the show. So we'll be reaching out to them. So we give them an opportunity with you to get a chance to come share with the community what's happening, their perspective, and make sure people understand we're proud of the leadership we have. There's always things we can do better. And so my hat's off to you and definitely appreciate the work that you're doing in Springfield.
Also, Larry, guess what? Larry, Dr. Sterling, Senator Collins is doing her fifth annual Mother's Day block party. That is
Yes,
so,
today.
yes, it's today. That I'm so happy to
It's
hear that.
today.
Well, congratulations
Yes,
on
yes,
that.
yes. Thank you,
Yes,
thank you. And also just be on the lookout for our Civic Youth Engagement Day. It's in Springfield, May 15th, where we're bringing young people down. And then we have our, foundation scholarship program and golfing outing in July. And so I'll send you all the dates for that as well. But
Please
these are
do.
opportunities for people to get involved and, really understand, get to know the members and understand our mission and the work that we've been doing and how we benefit and how we need to, the areas where we're looking to, expand and grow.
We need that. We definitely need that. Our hats go off to you. Thank you, Senator Collins.
Thank you. You all have a nice day.
You as well.
Bye.
Happy
thank
Mother's
you.
Day.
Dr. Sterling, I think, as we have always talked about on the radio show, is the economic impact of the Simcoe solution that it would have a rippling impact upon the overall community. We surely want to give you an opportunity to give any thoughts that you have in terms of your insight, from a global perspective. You've done a lot of stuff that's been very impressive. So we'll yield back to you.
Well, I just want to pick up what the senator put down. I think it's pretty important for people to understand clearly what she's saying. In my experience, this is a participation sport. You really have to be where the decisions are made, where the action is. And that's why Lobby Day that the Chamber puts on is so critically important. Being there, being able to put a face to the names and the programs and your proposals are absolutely critical. So the more that we do that, the better it gets. To be able to establish a relationship, to learn their priorities, to educate members of the General Assembly on matters that are of importance to you and your business. All of those things really matter. And for a community that is looking for a way to get out of perpetual crumbs and subcontractorship into prime positions, these types of conversations and the connection between the chamber and the caucus is such a joy to hear, because this is the path forward that needs to occur. And once it occurs, it really represents more power than we currently have and gets us closer to where we need to be. So thanks again, as always, and I look forward to continuing to work with everybody involved.
Super. Thank you, Dr. Sterling. Hey, LaDonna, we got a couple things that are coming up that we want
Before
to
we
let
get to that, Larry, we got a caller.
Okay, go right ahead.
Hi, Mr. Plump. Good morning.
WVON, ya shalom, assalamu alaikum, and good morning, beloved. How y'all doing there? WVON.
Yes,
The world's
welcome.
greatest talk radio station in the nation. Yes, I wanted to know two things. First, when is the next Black Chamber of Commerce meeting? And I like to be present. And also, where's the location of Senator Collins, her, block party for Mother's Day? And happy Mother's Day to all of our sisters and mothers
Well,
of
thank
the
you.
land.
We thank you for that. So we're having a actual chamber meeting, or should I say a networking event that's happening on May 29th at 6:30.
Okay.
That's going to be at the Let's Chill Lounge at 735 Torrance Avenue in Calumet City. And on that at that May networking event, it's free registration. And if you go to our Facebook page, you'll see that the flyer is prominently placed right there, giving you the times and the details with the address in case you didn't hear it or you're driving. But also, the Let's Chill Lounge is owned by one of our members and our very esteemed members, who is Dr. DeAndre Rucker, who is also the chairman of our Construction Committee. So we are
Hallelujah.
going, yes, so it's all full circle. This is what we do on a regular basis. But that is the next one that is upcoming. And again, that's May 29th. 6:30 p.m. to 8:30. And Larry is funny. That's what we were going to go into. But Minister Plum said, "Hey, when's the next event?" So, yeah.
Amen.
We love to see you there,
Okay.
Brother Plum.
And we
Yes.
have quite a few things coming up. Go ahead, Larry.
So nice. He also asked about Senator Collins' Mother's Day celebration,
Okay.
where it was located.
Her,
I don't know if you had that information or
I
not.
do. Thank you, Tina Augustus. That is located at 3605 West Fillmore Street in Chicago, Illinois. Looks like it's going on today from 12 to 3. I'm gonna run over there. Fifth annual Mother's Day block party. Lakeisha Collins is definitely. She talked. Senator Lakeisha Collins talked about that when she was on with us just a few minutes ago. But guys, get involved. It is Mother's Day, and I believe they have. I'm reading it now. Hot dogs, burgers, activities for kids, books, gifts for mom, live music, entertainment, resources, and more. This is what we're talking about. Looks like it's sponsored by You Can Relentless and many others.
Super. Super. So, LaDonna, we just got to. We have.
You're welcome, Minister Plum.
We're now. Trump has gave his 100-day speech, and what he did in 100 days. I'm trying to forget what he did in 100 days, quite frankly.
And he's still going. I think we're at 120 now, right? But yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about what we've done, what the chamber has been focused on, and our focus, because I think it's important for our listening audience and business people to understand what is it that the chamber is doing. And I want to emphasize that every day we're trying to be disruptive in terms of, things that have been going on that we have not participated in, whether it be the Department of Transportation, whether that be the Department of Correction, whether that be the Capital Livement Board, whether that be any agency, Illinois Department of Public Health, HFS. Our goal is to create more access for Black business owners, to get them ready so they can perform, ready, willing, able. But we're also doing that with corporations, the Nicor gases, the People's Gas, the ComEd, the Emirates, the AT&T, and the list goes on and on of corporate partners, Wind Creek, Ballard's Casino. We're always in there advocating for greater participation. And a lot of times, when we make a phone call, it opens the door. Because we've been here for so long within government agencies, as well as out there in corporations, sometimes a call from the chamber opens a door that otherwise would not have been open. And we can count hundreds of opportunities we've created for people. Go ahead, LaDonna.
Example. Give us a really good one.
Well, I say when you take a look at Wind Creek has 67% of their employees are people of color from top to bottom. But also, if you take a look at the contractors like Destiny Painting and others who were contractors on this particular contract, we play a real role as an advocate on the inside. I was officially appointed as an ambassador to Wind Creek. I worked with Wind Creek for 8 years to bring this project to bear. And I worked with them because I knew they had a true commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion. And we were very proud to work with them and proud of the work that they did and they continue to do in terms of supporting the community and giving back. That's one example. We can go to the Department of the Tollway, where we've impacted opportunities with Cassandra, who's doing a fabulous job, and John Donato as chief of staff. We're constantly working on deals. I want to point the deals out specifically because they're multi-million-dollar deals that we had a positive impact on, because we're leading and we're advocating in our role for engineering firms, whether it be Rashad Johnson, whether it be Michael Sutton, infrastructure engineering, any companies that we can help get an opportunity. We're pushing the envelope to do that as a rule of thumb. So
I'm
when
so
we think of,
disappointed, Larry. I'm so disappointed.
go ahead,
You
go
didn't
ahead, go
mention
ahead.
black media. Like
Well, hey, that's why you to be a chairperson. You go ahead and take that one down.
well, because of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce, Wind Creek Casino is now advertising with black media firms. So they have a commercial running on this very radio station at WVON, and that is because of the chamber's involvement. And we have so many other black media platforms that Wind Creek Casino is connected to, and other corporations are connected to because of the ad spend. The Illinois State Lottery, you've talked about that. We were a part of the facilitation of these contracts being pushed forward.
Absolutely. We go back to the very beginning when it's now a different name. Always is the name, but it was Camelot before that,
Hmm.
and we were in before they, we got with them, and they made a commitment to us to ensure that black media, Dorothy Lavelle, Harmony Hartman, Carl West, all of them over the last 7 years have participated, and there's been about 15 black uh, advertising, newspaper, radio who have benefited from the work that we've been advocating for. So every day, whether it be construction, whether it be professional services, we are pushing the envelope. And there's so many times that every day we get up, we're talking to someone about giving you access,
Hmm.
about access to capital, talking to bankers, people like Robert Johnson, who's a part of our team, an attorney who used to be legal counsel for McDonald's and then was the counsel for the Black McDonald's Franchise Association. We're constantly fighting on behalf of, Michelle Syrup, as an example. We really helped to kind of push her brand out there and constantly working with her to make sure things happen. So there's so many lists, guys. I mean, when I say, I don't mean hundreds, I mean thousands of businesses that we help each year to get to the next level. It's ongoing. Sometimes there's small contracts, like someone called me up and say, "Hey, Larry, they're down there working in this area and there's no black truckers at all." Well, I called up because I sit on the school board and I said, "Guess what? Um, I need to have this trucker work." It was done. That trucker is now working full time with other truckers, black truckers, getting business. So we do this every day,
Yeah,
all the time.
absolutely. Absolutely. And
So,
it never
and
ends.
no, it never ends because work is never. We're so far. We got so much work to do, and we can't just complain about what's happening. We have to create a pathway and keep the pressure on. And we're going to keep pressure on agencies like the Department of Corrections. We are not happy. We are not satisfied. I want them to know that, and I want us to be able to come back and say that instead of $1.8 of a $2 billion budget, that we are at a much higher number. So we're going to push for that. And if we have to make people uncomfortable, whatever we need to do, it is not okay for 54% of us to be incarcerated. And for the participation of just $1.8 million, if you took the total budget and you say, what percentage of the total budget do the African Americans get? It's less than 1%.
Hmm.
That's not acceptable. No one should be happy with that. The director, Latoya, I think Latoya's last name, great woman, but she also has a APO who understands procurement, and she needs to be reaching out to us to find out what does she need to do in order to improve these numbers, because we're not going to be okay. And we've already going to begin to talk to black media across the whole state of Illinois in terms of identifying people who I believe are performing well, that should do a better job, can do a better job, and not making the effort I believe they should make in order to fix the problem that we have.
For sure. And we are comprised of so many different committees, Larry. And just for our listeners that are listening out there, if you are a business owner, and the one thing that I think business owners struggle with is knowing that they too can participate in something like the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce and all of these different industries that we represent. Because of that, I want you to pay close attention to ilbcc.org. Once you go on there, you can see what all we're involved with and we have pushed forward or pushed through as a benefit to our business community and specifically our Black business community. Not only do we have the conference every year, we also have the pre-convention boat cruise every year. These are all networking opportunities that are not just there for the music and the food. You're actually making deals on the golf course. We're not on the golf course, but wherever we are, people are meeting one another, and that in-person interaction is way more impactful than just sending an email. So we give you the opportunity to present your business to other businesses and corporations, which can be potential clients, sponsors, and networking opportunities that pretty much create an introduction. So these are important events.
Absolutely.
They're not time
Absolutely.
wasters.
Yeah, absolutely, Don. Because it's amazing if a marketing company called them and said, "Hey, I want to get access to this company, the University of Illinois." I've had a conversation with the president of the University of Illinois, President Kalim, and I'm going to be talking to the young lady, African American, who is over marketing, and we're going to be having a conversation about how we can get more African American media involved in advertising and promoting, because they're still trying to reach African American to get enrolled at the University of Illinois and come to that college and ensure their success. Same thing would be true of all those colleges and universities. Chamber focus on that on an ongoing basis, to be a voice, whether it be for engineering, professional service, architectural. We do a lot of work with the junior colleges, people like IDD Architect, who is out of Texas. We brought him into Illinois. He is prospering in the state of Illinois because we've opened doors. And if the president was on the call, he would tell you that he has been very, very happy with the doors that the chamber has opened. Mm-hmm. And he's working all across the state of Illinois and continues to grow, looking to hire more architects, young Black architects, to work for his firm because they're growing their business. And they know that the chambers have a significant impact, and that's why they give us the strong support they give us, because we make things happen. And I'm excited that we get a chance to make a difference.
Do you have
really trying to make a difference?
Do any cases come to mind just off the top of your head while we're wrapping up our last few minutes of a rags to riches? I hate that term, but someone who may have started with being a solopreneur to now being an enterprise. Do you have any of those examples?
I would easily say that I think that Michael Sutton would agree that the chambers had a positive impact going back many years ago. Mm-hmm. And Mike has been not only a great engineering firm, but then we've been a great advocate for him. And he now has offices all across the United States and getting ready to open an office in LA, has a place in Detroit, Indianapolis, and the list goes on. I think he's at 10 different cities, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
He's also in Peoria. We brought him to Peoria. We got Boa Construction Company. When Boa started off, they were a pretty small company, but Boa, as most people know, have been extremely successful in terms of their growth and development. And when Boa has called us, they know that when they have an issue, that the organization to call that will stand in the gap is the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. When there's an issue with the Capitol Hill Board, when there was a champion that Wind Creek needed, it was a chamber who brought, most of them had the ability. Our job is that we made the introduction. And the only thing we have to do is make the introduction because their reputation speaks for themselves, quite frankly. Our job is to put you in front of the right people, create the right atmosphere for success, and then let you do what you do best. So we want people ready, willing, and able to participate. And that's what we've seen. We've been consistent in having a significant impact. And I mean, when I say an impact, it doesn't mean that we've got a contract for $100,000. I mean contracts of 30, 10, 15, 20, $30 million. These are the type of contracts that we've impacted. We're going to be working in the city of Waukegan. A shout out to Mayor Sam Cunningham, who just got elected in Waukegan. We're glad to see him in there, and I know that we will have an opportunity to work with Mayor Sam Cunningham, because Mayor Sam Cunningham worked with the chamber. And so we're glad to see him winning. We supported him with our political PAC. We supported a number of other people throughout the state. And we're proud of putting our money behind people. And I think one of the things that I say, and I wish that, we give money to politicians, but we have to make sure the investment we make is an investment that gives us a return on investment.
Nice.
Their job is to represent and to do things, but we have to make sure that we're available and give them their support that they deserve so that they can stand up and have their own freedom paper. Because when they have enough money, you can do what you want. But when somebody else is funding your campaign and we're not doing that, then it doesn't put us in the best position of that one.
Larry, I am so grateful for the chamber, and I want to just end our show with a little bit of praise and gratitude to our chamber. Number one, I'm a member, and I've been doing the Wake Up Show Chicago as a producer and then a co-host for the past 3 years. It'll be 3 years in June. But because of you, I am part of the WVON family, and I want to make sure that everybody understands that it is important to give gratitude to those that have put you in position or even opened the door and made the introduction. And by saying that, I mean, when I had to do my bio, I made sure that I updated it and I gave a shout out or included the mentors that brought me along the way, those that have taken me under their wing. They're included in my bio so that their name lives on as well. I can't just use the chamber and move on. I have to give gratitude and let everyone know where that actually came from. And I want to thank you, Larry, for that opportunity. And also, guys, when you tune in on Monday, well, tune into the afternoon show with the T and LaDonna Ray. We got a nice little, well, it's a big announcement. All right, Larry.
Super. Hey, my pleasure, LaDonna, and to our listening audience, have a wonderful Saturday and happy Mother's Day.
All right, guys. The Wake Up Show Chicago is brought to you by Wind Creek Casino. We'll see you next Saturday. Bye-bye for now.
And illuminate the path towards a more inclusive tomorrow. Follow us across the socials at The Wake Up Show Chicago. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. It's The Wake Up Show every Saturday morning at 9, where change begins with every sunrise. Welcome to The Wake Up Show Chicago.
That's the end?
The talk of Chicago is 1690 WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
It's time to focus with Robert McKay. Quality conversation, protecting, preserving, and preparing our past, present, and future. Sunday evenings at 4 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hi, this is Dr. Ansel Johnson from Vision Salon Eye Care Associates in Blue Island, Illinois. Good vision is closely tied to good health. And at Vision Salon, we connect the dots for you. If you're living with prediabetes, diabetes, hypertension, or autoimmune conditions, our personalized eye care and lifestyle advice can help preserve your sight for years to come. Experience award-winning care from a team that served our community for 35 years. Call or text at 708-385-0013. Again, 708-385-0013 and book your visit. See our eyewear collections at visionsalon.com. Vision Salon Eye Care Associates, educating, empowering, and protecting your vision. Be well, see well, and be blessed.
It's Rainbow Push's Saturday Morning Forum on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
Only try. We can make it a better place. We can make it a better place if we only try.
Let's give it a round of applause. We can make a better place if we only try.